personally optimistic about crypto and what it means for the American people. Now, people ask me why I tend to be bullish on the future of innovation in this country. Now, I spent enough time in Silicon Valley to recognize the difference between good technology that boosts our productivity, makes our lives richer, that grounds us in the real world and complements our day-to-day lives. That's the good technology, but there's also some bad technology out there. And when it comes to crypto, I think the last several years have made it clear that we're talking about genuine, ground-up innovation, one that's already improving the well-being of tens of millions of our fellow citizens. I believe it's 50 million Americans own Bitcoin, and I believe that's going to be 100 million before too long.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Imagine waking up tomorrow to find out the rules of the crypto game have completely changed. Regulations are shifting and millions of new investors are jumping in. Sounds exciting, right? But here's the thing. These changes are happening right now, and if you're not paying attention, you could miss out on the biggest crypto opportunities of 2025. So I'm talking about game-changing news like the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit finally wrapping up. Vice President J.D. Vance predicting 100 million Americans will own Bitcoin. And President Trump shaking things up with Fed Chair Powell calling for his resignation again. And these stories aren't just headlines. They're signals of where the crypto market is heading. So stick with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to be breaking it all down in simple terms, showing you why it matters and how you can stay ahead of this curve. Plus, if you stick with me until the end, I've got an exclusive sneak peek into a secret crypto community that's buzzing. And trust me, you will not want to miss this. Plus, we will be jumping over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening today. We'll jump over to Forex Factory and cover all the red folder news that's coming out next week that you need to know of. And we'll be jumping into the XRP charts over at TradingView. We're going to be taking a look at upcoming resistance and support levels. Plus, we'll be looking at the long-term and short-term momentum for XRP. And so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you here on this channel, make sure you subscribe right now. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. First things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap, check out the overall health of the crypto market. So today we are trading at $3.3 trillion total market cap. It is up 0.82% in the last 24 hours.
We just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now.
Weekend trading volume down extreme to $65 billion only traded in the last 24 hours. Fear and greed index coming in at 50. Altcoin season coming in at 20 out of 100. So we are still full on Bitcoin season. Bitcoin dominance at 64.8%. It is up 1.66% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin ETF inflow finished with a strong push to the upside, over $500 million worth of inflows in the final day of the week. When we zoom out and we take a look at it on the weekly chart here, it was over $2 billion worth of inflows into Bitcoin. Now there's a ton of people getting bearish on the Bitcoin chart saying this is going to fail. We're going back to $60,000. Well, as we take a look at the weekly inflows into Bitcoin, it is looking very strong and very healthy right now. Taking a look at Ethereum's ETF inflows, also finishing strong at the end of the week, over $77 million worth of inflows of volume. When we zoom out and take a look at their weekly chart, over $283 million worth of inflows. Now, as we take a look at all of the inflows for Ethereum's inflows, it is looking strong over the past several weeks, pushing hard. Obviously, last week had a micro pullback, still had a positive inflow. But look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive weeks in a row of ETF inflows. So right now, only Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs are being tracked on CoinMarketCap, but soon to come, we will be having those big, massive ETFs for XRP. We cannot wait for that. Top 6 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin, number 1, obviously at 107,000. Ethereum, number 2 at 2,400. Tether coming in at $1 at number 3. XRP at number 4 at $2.18. BNB coming in at number 5 at $648. And Solana wrapping it up at number 6 at $150. News to watch out for next week. Red folder news, meaning important for the financial markets. On Tuesday, we're going to see Jerome Powell back in action, giving another speech. Will he do a surprise rate cut? I doubt it. Some people are starting to say rate cuts will be coming in July. Most likely, they're actually going to start happening in September. But now there's reports of 2026 having extreme cuts, getting us down from 4.5 right now where we're at for the federal funds rate, down to 2.5, 2 full points, maybe even more, all the way down to 1% federal funds rate. Will be huge. Also on Tuesday, JOLTS job openings, very important. On Wednesday, non-farm employment change, also very important. That's why it's red folder news. Then on Thursday, we're going to be looking out for the most important number coming out on Thursdays is the unemployment rate. We're also going to get non-farm employment change on that day as well. No massive news for Friday, so an easy week next week. Obviously being 4th of July. Heading over to X.com. Don't forget to follow us on X.com. We are the Bull Runners at Bull Runners HQ over here. And don't forget, every single week, we give away $100 worth of XRP. The winner is announced every single Sunday. So you want to get in. You only have 1.5 days left to enter this contest. It's midnight on Sundays. We announce the winner. Congratulations to IC Clearly Won for winning the previous week. All you have to do to win this, very simple, follow us, like, retweet, comment XRP on this post down below, and subscribe to our daily newsletter. So if we go and we look at these simple, easy rules, there's only been 50 retweets on this post. So there's only 50 contestants in this week's contest. So make sure you enter right away. Don't forget to click on the link, Altcoin Secrets. Also, you will be able to get a free book, Altcoin Secrets, the underground guidebook to becoming a crypto millionaire. All you got to do is click the orange button right here, enter your best email address, and then click the orange button again, and boom, you are all set. So what's the breaking news that happened today? Lots of information to cover here. We'll rapid fire. Vice President J.D. Vance says 100 million Americans will own Bitcoin soon. And you saw that in the intro of the video. Now, this was a while back, but I just wanted to replay this. And this was a great post from Vivek because it is becoming more and more apparent. The reality is setting in. We are shifting to a crypto world. Crypto only in the future. Fiat getting tossed out. We'll see how soon that happens. Also bullish. The ETFs bought over $500 million worth of Bitcoin and $77 million worth of Ethereum yesterday alone. So this is what I've been covering with you. I've been telling you guys to follow the ETF transactions. You can find that over on CoinMarketCap. And the reason why I say that is because that is a great indicator of where markets are flowing. These are institutional buyers. These are people that are buying millions of dollars worth of the coins, not hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands, millions of dollars worth, and loading up for their clients in the ETF sector. When will BlackRock step up? They do have a Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum. When are they going to step up and open up their XRP ETF? Time will tell. President Trump says Fed Powell chair has to go. He's a stubborn mule and a stupid person is what he's quoted as saying. The feud continues. It's starting to make me wonder a little bit here with this, guys. Is it all just drama? Like, is it a show? Is it being put on for the people? Because it is so ridiculous how back and forth these guys are going. And truly, though, Jerome Powell is making a huge mistake holding off cutting these rates. With President Trump doing this in the public, always slamming him, making it even less likely that Jerome Powell would even make the actual change, because when he does, then it'll look like he, simped to Trump, and that he doesn't want to look like that, right? He's the chairman of the Federal Reserve, the most, in reality, the most powerful man in money in the world, right? This guy controls all of the United States dollar inflows, outflows, power, and percentage of interest it's gaining. So crazy, this feud continues to boil on. Now, speaking of Ethereum, I've been covering Ethereum for quite some time lately because it's very important. A lot of people think it's over. It's dead. The coin is absolutely trash. It's never going back to $4,000. It's actually going all the way down to zero, people are saying. But people are getting on board. The people in the know, big corporations, big institutions. Sharplink Gaming just scooped up another 1,989 Ethereum worth $4.8 million. Now, remember, they are doing a treasury reserve with Ethereum. So how we know that MicroStrategy, or now Strategy, and Michael Saylor are doing the Bitcoin treasury reserve for their company. They're just using straight up Bitcoin. Well, Sharplink hopes that Ethereum is going to take off to the upside, and they're using Ethereum instead of Bitcoin for their treasury reserves for their company. Now, speaking of reserves, here's an interesting, this has been a rumor for a long time, and a lot of people have been posting more and more about it. And we also have people in the Trump administration starting to talk more about it. Even in news articles, there was recently a news interview that we saw. One of the people in control of this situation says that they believe it's going to happen. United States White House says gold reserves may be used to purchase Bitcoin. Now, let me know down in the comment section. Now, this is a very interesting topic. People are very on board with it. Other people are very, very against it. Let me know your opinion down below. Do you think that we should take the actual physical gold we have, sell it off, and use that money to buy Bitcoin? Now, in a speech recently, Trump again calling out Chair Powell, as we talked about earlier, calling him a stubborn mule. Well, he also said, I'd love for him to resign. He's done a lousy job. And this is interesting because Trump did make a good point, right? So he said, Jerome Powell, listen, if you just lower the federal funds rate, the United States is going to save hundreds of billions of dollars against the debt that we owe to the Federal Reserve. But also, if anything goes wrong, if you lower the interest rates, right, you're going to help us as a country. But if you lower the interest rates and for some reason inflation starts to go back up or the recession whispers start to creep back in, then just raise the rates again. Why do you have to just keep on holding them steady for now when all of these other people, they're doing tremendous amounts of studies that say we should be lowering interest rates at this point. And all the other countries around the world are lowering their interest rates. Now, for all of you guys out there that are waiting for an alt season, right? You want all of your crazy micro cap meme coin bags to pump, but they're not yet. Well, altcoin liquidity is shrinking. Capital inflows into altcoins have contracted by $46 billion compared to last cycle. Ethereum's dominance is fading. We know that it's fading overall, but that's because there's competitors out there. We're also seeing that more companies are coming back into the space, but Solana, XRP, and BNB are absorbing more liquidity. So a major shift in the altcoin power structure is happening. Is Ethereum losing its crown? Now, obviously, I'm a huge XRP army person. Largest holdings in my personal bags is XRP. I think Ethereum is a great token, but is it losing the crown as the overall layer one blockchain to build smart contracts on top of? Well, it is definitely possible because we know Solana was called the Ethereum killer. We know XRP is now going to be able to build smart contracts on the XRPL with their new updates and upgrades. Well, let me know down below. Is ETH losing its crown? Let me know yes or no in the comment section. All right, and this is what I wanted to get into. The most important thing here, guys. This is actually happening. Ripple is dropping our cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop their cross appeal, as they previously said. We're closing this chapter once and for all and focusing on what's most important. That's building the Internet of Value lock-in. And again, like I said, they are now able to do smart contracts on top of the XRPL here in the coming future. But here's one thing I got to tell you guys. Right now, it is official. Brad Garlinghouse says we are dropping our appeal. But you know what we haven't heard? You know what we keep on getting crickets from? The SEC. The SEC has not backed this up. The SEC has not come out and officially said, we are also dropping our appeal. Because once that happens, then Ripple can just pay their fine. So if Ripple drops their appeal, SEC drops their appeal, then Ripple can just pay their fine, and then we're on. Now, what's really great about this is that from now on, we know that XRP is not a security. However, it needs to be sold through retail channels. So that means when big major corporations want to come in and buy up XRP, they're going to have to buy it from an exchange, whether it's OTC, which is over the counter behind the scenes, or they can come and buy it from public exchanges. Now, on top of that, there's massive rumors that Ripple is now ready to buy a actual exchange themselves. And which one? Well, which exchange was the largest supporter of XRP ever throughout this whole entire thing? Uphold, right? So Uphold there is a rumor. There's a massive rumor. Is it real? I don't know if it's real, but there's rumors going on right now that Ripple wants to do acquisitions. We know that's true because they just did Hidden Road and they want to do more. Could they come in and buy Uphold? Then they would be their own exchange. Then they could sell to institutions through their exchange and they would not be getting in trouble. Now, a lot of you guys out there are wondering, okay, well, where is the retail FOMO? Because usually, I mean, it's weird, right? This whole crypto cycle has been the weirdest crypto cycle I've ever been a part of, because usually there's an ultimate like extreme rally to the upside, and we haven't had that. We've had a couple of decent rallies and then they stall and then there's massive pullbacks. Well, take a look at this, guys. Right now, U.S. banks are sitting on $413 billion in unrealized losses as of Q1. So the banks are not doing well. That means that they're not lending money out as well. Now, we're also seeing record highs of people behind on their mortgage defaults, record highs. Now, what's interesting, we have not started, and if you're not familiar, my name's Ryan Huggins, by the way. I am also a real estate agent, do real estate investing in Southern California. What you haven't noticed yet, though, is there hasn't been a ton of foreclosures. So banks are in losses right now. They have extreme losses as far as their investment securities and many other things. So do they really want to start taking on their other assets such as houses? No, they're going to try and delay their mortgage delinquencies, their foreclosures for as long as possible, because if they start, they're already in unrealized gains. Then they start bringing on the real estate portfolio. Really bad news for them, for sure. So that's why we're not getting the retail FOMO. People are behind on their rent. They're behind on their mortgage. They're behind on their car payments. They're behind on their credit card bills. And unfortunately, they don't have this extra money to pump into the market. Now, if you remember the last crypto bull cycle, what happened? There was a stimulus check that went out because of COVID. Everyone all of a sudden had a couple extra $1,000. They dumped it into crypto. Crypto pumped. Everyone got crazy and happy. Will there be a stimulus check from Doge? Will there be a stimulus check from Trump? Will there be a stimulus check from the tariffs? Because we know the tariffs are supposed to be the external revenue service, so we don't have to pay taxes as citizens. They're collecting money from outside sources. So we'll see, right? But anyway, I do track the banks and information that happens there for you guys as well. And by the way, if you are getting value from today's video, make sure you subscribe today. We love to have you guys. You are a genius for being here. So on top of all of this crazy fundamental news that sounds really good and awesome, we also have President Trump saying in his own words at press conferences that a lot of pressure is off the dollar because of Bitcoin. Take a listen.
It's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar. And it's a great thing for our country. So
All right. And Cointelegraph says Ripple is eyeing multiple acquisitions after its $1.25 billion Hidden Road deal, while also planning XRPL upgrades. So a lot of positive things coming for Ripple. We've already kind of talked about that in today's video, but let's go deeper dive. I'm going to head over to my profile here. And if you're not following me on X, feel free to follow me, Win with Ryan, at Real Win with Ryan. We're going to scroll down to a thread that I just did. The important information you need to know about what has just happened, legal and regulatory developments. All right. So Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, a significant development occurred when Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse announced on the 27th that Ripple was dropping its cross appeal against SEC, which we've already discussed. Garlinghouse indicated that the SEC was expected to drop its appeal as well, potentially ending the 4-year legal battle that began in December of 2020. The SEC accused Ripple of raising $1.3 billion through unregistered XRP sales. XRP's price spiked by 3% on the news, up to $2.18 within hours. And I'll go ahead and get into the charts here in just a couple of minutes. But this is very, very positive news. And this comes on the back of the fact that on the 27th, Annalisa Torres denied the joint motion by Ripple and SEC to dismiss the case, the permanent injunction, and reduce the $125 million penalty. The market reaction was modest at that point, with XRP dropping 2.7% because people got spooked. And then the price did come down to $2.09. And this ruling also lowered expectations for the XRP ETF, with approval odds dropping from 95 to 76. So Annalisa Torres got a lot of heat for this on X as well. People were really pissed off at Annalisa Torres in doing it this way, saying that she was supposedly on the side of Ripple and ending the case, blah, blah. They're unbiased, so that wasn't the case. It was kind of weird that people were saying that. However, this was a big blow, and it did hurt the price. But then immediately after that, we see Garlinghouse coming out and say, fine, if you're not going to end it, I'll end it. I'm not going to appeal it anymore, which was very positive news. Also, speaking of the ETF speculation, despite the earlier optimism, legal uncertainties have continued to cloud the prospect of this spot ETF. Now, remember, there has already been leveraged ETFs for XRP launched, and there has been a spot ETF launched in Canada, but not in the United States. A favorable ruling could push XRP towards all-time highs of $3.55. On unfavorable ruling, meaning we're not getting any spot ETFs anytime soon, could tank the price all the way to $1.50. So let me know down below, do you think the ETF is going to be adopted? Let me know yes or no down below. All right, so jumping over to XRP in the charts, a good update for you. So as we can see, this is the daily charts here. We did come down and bounce off of our $1.92 support level. And we're going to zoom out actually to the weekly candles. That was based off of support right here from the bodied candle closes all the way back on April 7th. We said if we lose that spot, we could be in some trouble, or we could be dropping back to the 50 exponential moving average again, which is $1.82. But I really believe that $1.90 was going to hold because that's a great area for us to build support for XRP. Well, this week, the candle closes in 22 hours. So tomorrow, the candle will close. We have had a decent recovery this week so far to the upside. We had a nice level of resistance that was popping up on this higher time frame scenario here at $2.15 we've been talking about for days. We did break through that. If we have a bodied candle close above that level, very positive news. We would then need, though, a continuation candle. So what that means is another positive green candle to the upside. We do not need green, then red. That's been too often in the past. We need green and green. And then we're going to have this level right here. That will be our next level of resistance on this higher time frame, $2.33. We break through that, $2.43. Now, this is the most important level, in my opinion, $2.43. Really, it's $2.44 because if we can break above these bodied candles, remember, we tried to break above this level. We got two spikes, two massive candles, one massive candle and a smaller candle to the upside. Unfortunately, the bears stepped in and bought out the bulls at that point. But we also, even the bodies of our candles here did not close as high as that. So we did not get a new market structure, unfortunately, on the weekly candle close. We need to be above $2.44 so we can continue this move, $2.44. Now, the great thing is when we look at our weekly spider lines chart, this one's much more, I've got a lot more stuff going on here. This is much more noise. Let's go ahead and get rid of these horizontal lines, though. We're going to keep, these are our spider lines. We can get these on the weekly candles from the drop of 2008, pivot point from the high of 2021, and then that right there on the ray tool on TradingView, there's a tool called the ray. You draw a ray from there to that pivot point, and it will give you support and resistance lines into the future. And they've been spot on. I mean, take a look at this spider line right here. This is why we knew it was coming back to $1.90. Boom, right here. This spider line actually comes to us from January 15th, 2018. Price right here came touched right off. That's even where the bodied candles closed right there off of that line, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the spider lines are fantastic. And then the spider line above it, which is $2.26, we can see has been an area of resistance several times. It hasn't been a great support for us yet. So we want to break above that. And if it does come back down, building support. Last time it tried to come down that level, it lost. Last time it came down that level, lost. It had a bounce back, but it lost, right? So we want to keep that. And even the spider lines going into the future so much. Hey, bull runners, are you feeling FOMO about this bull run without the right financial support? We're here to change that. We're not just about funding, we're about growing your business together. Whether you're investing in crypto, kicking off a new startup, managing your existing business, or looking to expand, we have personalized funding that meets your exact needs. Imagine starting your business or getting capital to invest $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. That's not a dream, it's what we do. We've helped countless entrepreneurs like you with 0% interest funding without needing personal funds, income verification, or collateral. With just a 680 credit score, you qualify. We understand that your business can't wait, so take advantage of our quick funding approach. We look beyond the credit score with inclusive approval process that sees the big picture of your business or investment potential. Our flexible repayments are tailored to match your business cycles, ensuring you can manage repayments without strain. With access to our extensive lending network of over 5,000 options, we're committed to finding the perfect match for your business or investing needs. Plus, you'll have our dedicated team by your side, guiding you through every step of the funding journey. Whether it's buying crypto, hiring new employees, or launching a new product, we're committed to your success. Click the link to connect with our expert advisors and secure your business's future now. Look at this right here. This spider line, the dotted spider line where our all-time high kicked in. This is from the spider line from March 19th, 2018. And that gave us our resistance line up at this level. In fact, we can see 2 weekly candles touch that area right there. And this is on the weekly candles. Now, when we drop to the daily candles, it's even more obvious that these levels are important. Look at this way. On the way up, it bounced off of this spider line right here, made its way up here. This spider line became a support at this level, support at this level, support at this level, lost support here, support at this level. So love the spider lines. They do really well. Actually learned that from Crypto Face, also a YouTuber. Go check out his channel. He's an amazing day trader. Now down below, we have the Wolfpack long-term momentum indicator. As you can see, we are red. Looks like we have a double bottom here, and we need to push up above the 0 line on the Wolfpack indicator right here, turn back green. Look what happened last time we turned green. We had a green push, a retest of the 0 line, and then a green push. It was a 50-cent move. We need to get back in the green. Prior to this move, the green finally broke through back here. That was the November push, and it rode this whole entire momentum to the upside all the way through to the all-time high. So unfortunately, as of late, daily long-term momentum broke down below the 0 line. It's been bearish since May 29th. We're waiting to have that push to the upside. The good news is we did lose a pretty significant amount. I mean, let's look at the percentage lost from the drop. So this is the candle, and then it actually had a drop of 17% from there. Where we're sitting right now, though, is only a 5% drop from there. So this obviously had this crazy liquidity event where it came down and swiped out everyone's stop losses. But really, we've been just consolidating.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers,